Well, hello. So I thought I would do some signs for MLK Day, since that is soon. So there's two things that I have seen, and I guess they're both acceptable, and it depends on your preference or the deaf preference. And that's what's important, right? Is the deaf preference. So the first one is just the initials, MLK Day. The second one is doing MLK in a sash, because that's where royalty is. Remember, we did Cinderella and Queen and King, and his last name is King. So people have given the sign of MLK going down the sash. But some people say, well, that's not, he wasn't a king. That is his last name. So many people just do MLK. But then you add the day, MLK Day. Or if you're talking about him, then it's MLK. So one of the words that you would see is parade. And just like with all ASL, your dominant hand, if it's the same hand shape, it's going to do the action and the other one follows. So this is parade. So I am right-handed, so my right hand's going to go in front, and the left hand is going to go in the back, and they're doing a parade, like an MLK Day parade. And so you might want to, people are going to talk about his characteristics or what he represented. So he represented equal rights. So you have a bent B hand shape, and that's one in the first videos that I do as I show you the hand shapes. So a bent B is equality, equal rights, right? And civil rights, so I would spell it civil rights, voting, F hand shape, and you're putting the ballot in, voting rights. So you can still do some of those. So equality, equal rights, voting rights, civil rights. And justice, so this is equality, this is equal and equality, but also this is justice. And he talked about justice for all people. He was also considered a hero. I would spell it. Children, when they talk about the comic books, the heroes, they'll put a big S on their chest, like for Superman, and that's kind of not just necessarily just for Superman, but for heroes in general. So you could do that. But in MLK's instance, I would not use that. I would spell it. I would spell hero. Or he was a brave man. He was also a preacher. So the F hand shape again, and we go out like this and go down. This is the person, the agent, so preach, person. He's a preacher. He also gave a famous speech. I saw someone do this. I don't do it, but I guess if you want to, I always learned it like this. You're giving this speech. Your whole hand from the elbow out moves is the speech. And his famous speech was, I have a dream. Now, you could do dream one way, but I'm going to show you the way for in this particular instance. I have a dream, right? I can see something that I would like to see happen. But in MLK's case, he actually really had a dream, right? So, so you would say, oh, his famous speech. I, pointing to yourself, I have been, B handshape again, have a dream. Then this is dream that goes up. But in this case, you could go like this, but then I want you to open it up. Remember, we did that for Cinderella. So dream, I have a dream. Before you even get very far, you could just start doing your dream. It opens up, and he could I can see it, that we're all going to be equal, and people are determined, their success, not on the color of their skin, but their merit or the skills that they have, what they're good at, F handshape, good at. And so that was his dream, that everyone goes to school together. So let's talk about segregation. Segregation is also a bent B hand shape as well. Segregation, you are together and then you separate. So segregation is basically separate. So that's segregation. Segregation. So he didn't believe in segregation. He was against segregation, right? Or I don't know that I would put it, they were all together. I mean, they're not back together. They were first segregated, and then it was desegregation, so they stopped segregation. I would still always have segregation in there, saying they stopped segregation. The law was against segregation, so now everyone can go and use the same water fountain, the same entrances to buildings and to movies, same bathrooms. They don't have separate of those things. So segregation is an important one. They can all go to the same school. There's not a black school or a white school. And back in his day, it was called colored. Colored. And I don't know that I would use that sign. I think I would use black and white. I think that I would, and this is black, or you can do a B hand shape, but I mostly see black. And white, this is the white color, and a white splashing back is a white person. And so that was really the segregation, was in between black and whites. You don't have to say black people and then white people, because this is white people, and you just do black and white people. And I would do a little shift, because it is separate. It's in two different groups. So I would make sure that that you use that in any kind of desegregation or busing. You could do busing. Goes back and forth, a bent V hand shape. Busing, which they had to get on the bus and ride a long way so they can go to a white school. Those kinds of things. But the most, and then he had sit-ins or protest. And so in this case, I wouldn't use the sign for protest, an S hand shape, and it goes like this. This is to rebel or rebellious. They weren't really doing that in MLK's day. They would actually pick up the sign. I've shown this to you before. It's like how the signs, they have the wooden stick, and they grab a hold of it, and then they pick it up and they march, right? So like march, but you're marching. So that is protest for MLK time period. They also had sit-ins. So I would probably, if you want to talk about a specific sit-in, so that I would do sit-in. They all just sit, right? Not say anything, not do anything. They would just sit. You could do it in a circle or a big long line. However they show it, because they do show them on the sidewalk or maybe in a restaurant. They're all just sitting, sit. Maybe they're in a circle and they're singing, whatever. And so those were the protests back in the day. They were, it was resistant, but it was not aggressive, right? It was passive. It was a passive protest. So those are the things to kind of think about and keep in mind. Is those, like I said, equality, justice. You could do justice, equality, equal, justice, and equality for those things. All right, let me know if there's any words or signs that I missed, and I will do another one. So I'm going to hopefully type it into the description so you'll know which words that we're discussing. Practice with your deaf and your hearing friends. I'll see you later. Bye.